Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now this story comes from Blank Cosmic from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit and says, would I be the arsehole for skipping out of my brother's wedding because he excluded my family from the planning and my siblings from the wedding? I'm a 30 female with 7 younger siblings, 25 male, a 21 male, and girls 22, 20, 18, and twins 17. Our large family is close. We've been through a lot together, strife, arguments, but we've overcome them all. Others around us look to us as an example of how close siblings and parents should be. We're also big on tradition and our culture. My brother Mark, 25 male, was the cheapest sib among us. He would always ask for money from our parents and us. God knows what he would spend it on since he kept coming back to ask for more. He never contributed anything to the household, even to buy groceries. Really selfish. Last year, Mark got engaged. The date for the wedding was set for May. We were all so excited to be a part of the wedding. We joked about attire, the playlist for the reception, etc. He asked our parents for help paying for the wedding. They agreed to pay more than half of the price since it would be the first wedding of the household. We later learned that he dropped at least $8,000 of his own money into the wedding. Turns out he wasn't as broke as we thought. One day we all sat down to talk about wedding plans. As we were joking around, Mark gave us a list of things that would be done for the wedding. He started mentioning catering, venue, colors. Pretty tame overall. We nodded in agreement since everything seemed normal. Then he told us that Olive, his fiancée, already picked out and purchased a dress. We as a family didn't see the dress and still don't know what it looks like to this day, and weren't there with her to try dresses on. We missed that moment with her. The women of the family, including my mother, were bummed that we weren't there for the dress fitting, but we assured ourselves that whatever dress was picked was perfect. It was their wedding after all, so it shouldn't be too bad, right? Mark continued to list off things about the wedding that he finalized. The venue he chose was a 4-hour drive, several states from our hometown, somewhere we've never been. The officiator was someone we didn't know. He didn't know him either. The list of things that were set grew and grew. We were more and more troubled. Then Mark dropped the bombshell. OP, you and your partner will be in the bridal party. Sam, my other brother, was also in the party. We asked, what about your other sisters? Oh, they're just going to be in the reception part. Why aren't they going to be in the main wedding? He replied, that's a decision I'm making. They replied, what is the actual reason? Why exclude your siblings in the white wedding? Mark said, I saw someone else do that at their wedding. Figured I could do that too. We were shocked, unsatisfied with his answer. I was in the wedding with my other brother, but not any of the girls. The rest of the family was visibly upset. Where'd this come from? I'm standing up for my siblings. Yes, it's his wedding, but if my siblings won't be a part of it, I won't be either. I would include my own family at my wedding. Am I wrong for that? OP gave some additional information down in the comments and says, I would like to offer some clarity about what some of the comments have been saying. Not to justify myself, but to explain the culture behind everything and why we're upset. 3,000 character limits are fun. In my culture, it is custom for the family of the man plan for and run the wedding. All members of the immediate family are involved in major roles, including the siblings. This is true for all male children. If any members of the family are excluded, it is a sign of animosity or hatred. Excluding family members from the wedding party is like a middle finger to them. There has never been a wedding in our extended family where none of the siblings or parents were involved, unless there was some sort of malice behind it. My parents' wedding anniversary included all of my siblings and myself in the bridal party. All the cousins we have got married with their families, even traveling and paying for everyone to fly to another country to attend and participate in the ceremony. Excluding the younger girls would send a message to the rest of the extended family that there is something wrong between all of us. From my observation, I haven't seen anything happening between Mark and the other girls. We all get along just fine. We even live in the same house together. This is why we're insistent on the reason behind why he wasn't including the rest of the girls. It goes against our tradition, and we see it as a sign of resentment. Now, there's a lot of talk about culture within this story, and, I can't comment on it. I don't know what culture it's from, and I probably wouldn't know much about it anyway, but from, looking in, I would be saying, it's his wedding, it's his choice. You said in the final comment it goes against our tradition and you see it as a sign of resentment. So talk to him about it. Ask him, does he resent them in any way? Is there anything about it? I know you talked to him before, but talk to him again if that's the way you're seeing it. And if he says no, he doesn't resent you in any way, he's just trying to save money or whatever the reason may be, then what's the issue with it? Again, this may be very much to do with culture, so I'm struggling to comment on it too much. But if my brothers came up to me and they said they don't want to include me or some of the other family members in one of their weddings, it wouldn't bother me in the slightest. In fact, I'd be quite relieved because I'd be able to enjoy the day more. But OP does come in with an update and says, this serves as an update on my previous post that I made weeks ago. It seems that because of recent updates, there are more details that I need to include. To summarize, I am a 30 female with a large family, including 2 younger brothers and 4 younger sisters. I made a post previously stating that my brother Mark, 25, was going to have a wedding in May. I only wanted my other brother to be in the wedding party, and my other sisters to be excluded. There are 2 reasons as to why I deleted the original post. 1. Shame. It wasn't being fun being called an arsehole by a lot of people. I felt bad. I didn't like the criticism, and the emotions I felt at the time drove me to do it. 2. I knew there was something more to it than what I was writing. I posted too early, and from the new information that has been brought up, I decided to make another post. There was a paragraph that I included about Mark being stingy with money. I explained that everyone in the family got along, but Mark was always asking for money, never paying it back, and participating in frivolous spending. I didn't realize until now that this paragraph would have been more relevant. In the original post, I explained that he paid for half of the wedding venue. So it was understandable that he would exclude people from the wedding and go against traditions of including the whole family in the party. He told us, I just want a small wedding. I don't have to follow traditions. We were angry and threatened to leave the wedding entirely. Reddit called me an arsehole for this. Initially I would have agreed if it was just this information, but turns out he lied. Dun, dun, dun. He did not contribute a single cent to the wedding. Not for the venue, not for the catering, not for the DJ, nothing. In fact, my mother Carol paid for most of it. All the future in-laws paid for half of the venue. He said he paid. Carol funded the clothes, the food, the MC, 75% of the venue, and is still pouring thousands of dollars into the wedding for more things. Mark is insisting on demanding more things for the wedding, which includes excluding some of our family from the wedding party. Meanwhile, he's not paying for the party's dresses or suits. Once again, he's expecting the rest of us to foot the bill while he sits back and doesn't plan his own wedding. He won't let Carol invite people she wants to, even though she's paying and her guests wouldn't break capacity. Carol can't take it anymore. She's stressed having to do this herself. I've seen her and my father cry out to him. It doesn't even seem worth it anymore. Am I the arsehole? A couple of comments where OP replies, so Antizana says, you're the arsehole / everyone sucks here, except Mark. The fact that your mum's paying doesn't mean that she gets to make all the choices. If her love and support are conditioned on getting her way, she shouldn't have offered. She's just loan sharking. If your brother isn't so close to your siblings, he shouldn't have to include them in his party. He may have other people he wants to include, and you are certainly a lot of siblings and acting awfully entitled. Same goes for your mum inviting her friends. The party is not about her. Why is that hard to understand? It's Mark's wedding. He and his future spouse should invite whom they want, should have the parties they want, and if your mum and siblings can't handle this not being about them, they need a reality check. It's sad how transactional you all are. OP responds saying, my mother is paying for more than half of the venue and everything else in the wedding. She and Mark made a list of people who were included in the wedding, including people she wanted to invite that were approved by the 2 of them. And he is now deciding to take back his word. In-laws are being treated with priority and everyone on that side is being catered to and invited. Meanwhile, we're being left behind. Mark lied about paying for things. He lied about the invite list. He lied about the venue. Maddie Cat says, I need clarification. Are the other siblings invited to the wedding and just not in the wedding party or not invited at all? OP says, All the siblings were invited, but at first my brother purposely left them out of the wedding party. It took his fiancée and other members of the wedding party to let the rest of the sibs be in the wedding in that regard. There was room for all of us, and the clothes for the party are being funded by my mother, but he decided not to include us initially. Al Jordan says, why is that a problem? What is wrong with just being a guest? Bloody hell, messy, right? I just kept casting my mind back to the very start after all of this, and it said others around us look to us an example of how close siblings and parents should be. I mean, if you think that's close, oof, dearie me. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from a throwaway account and says, I just got an email on my husband's iPad that the hot water in his apartment building was going to be shut down temporarily for repairs. We own our own house and have not rented for over a decade. My husband is on a trip with one of our sons and his brother to go visit their mother, my son's grandmother. I was cleaning up the den when an email notification popped up on his iPad. It was an email from an apartment complex that they were going to be temporarily closing down the hot water for repairs. Sent from one of those automatic senders that you can't reply to. It was addressed to my husband with his first and last name. The thing is, we own our own house. We haven't rented in over 10 years, and even then, it wasn't this place. Where my husband is, upstate New York, there isn't any service. I tried to send him a picture of the email, but it won't go through. I called him and spoke to him for a bit. Service was choppy, but I managed to explain to him about the email, and basically all he said is that it must be a mistake and they had the wrong email. We weren't able to say much before the call just dropped, but if it was a wrong email, how would they have his first and last name, all spelled correctly? For context, his first name is somewhat common, but our last name isn't common, especially in this area. There weren't any other emails from this sender or about this apartment complex in my husband's emails. But he is also the kind who clears out his inbox as he gets messages. I sent a message to the apartment complex telling them that I think my husband was on their email list by mistake, but I just got an automatic email sent back that they were out of office until 10/20, and then general rent information pricing, 1 bedroom, 1,600, 2 bedroom, 1,900, and that there were no open units available. There was no unit number on the email, but the complex is about 15 minutes away from our house, so I went and I drove by, which I guess might be a little crazy, I know. I didn't see anything, not like I knew what to expect. It's a group of buildings, less than 100 apartments in all. I didn't see anything, not like I knew what to expect. It's a group of buildings, less than 100 apartments in all. I don't have any reason to mistrust my husband, other than this weird email that gives me a strange feeling in the pit of my stomach, as well as a general feeling of paranoia that he's just been bored with me. I've been feeling this way for a little while, but he insists I'm imagining it and that he's happy. I only brought it up to him once, when I was feeling particularly insecure last year. We still do things together. He still tells me he loves me, etc. I just feel like he doesn't have as much fun with me as he used to, and that he looks for reasons to be out of the house or doing things specifically with the boys instead of doing things with the whole family. It's not like it's something that bothers me every day, just something that I think about when I'm feeling insecure or paranoid. Like in a situation like this where he gets an email from a random apartment complexes. Lol. Anyway, I don't know exactly what advice I'm looking for. I know the advice I would have for one of my friends would be to just talk to him, but I really can't do that until he comes home on Saturday, which is a really long time for me to sit with my intrusive thoughts. Edit. He never lived here in the past. He lived with his parents until college and then lived in a dorm, and then every place he rented was with me. We've been dating since we were 19. Edit 2. The email wasn't a phishing scam. It was a legitimate email from the email address on the apartment complex's website. All of the information included in the email letterhead matched the information on the apartment complex's website. If it was a phishing scam, I assume they would have been looking for information. This email wasn't looking for anything. It was just an informational email about the water. Update. My best friend called the emergency maintenance number and said that she was a delivery driver who had over $100 worth of food for and said my husband's name, but she said he had forgotten to fill in his apartment number. The guy didn't speak English very well, but after she repeated herself a few times, he did eventually say his name and then told us the apartment number. I think we can all kind of got a little hint of where this one might be going, but D-Dog says call the apartment complex to see if they are shutting down the water to see if it's real and then do some more digging. OP says I called them and got an answering service. D-Dog replies saying I know you trust your husband, but don't let that blind trust stop you from seeing if he's in fact hiding something from you. OP says the email was real. It all matches the actual information on the apartment complex website. Deckage says realize apartment manager is out until 10:20, but doesn't the voicemailing include another number for overnight emergencies? OP says yes. He gave the private cell phone number for the maintenance person. Deckage replies saying call them. Explain that you have a delivery for Mr. OP, but the unit number is missing and you're under a deadline to deliver and it's perishable. OP says thank you. This is a good idea and it worked. The maintenance guy didn't speak English very well, so I think he was somewhat confused, but he eventually gave us an apartment number, which we saw in that mini update from before. OP adds one more comment which adds some additional information and says he's never lived there before. Again, the email had good specific first and last name. He has company finances. He owns his company. I don't have access to. There were no other emails, but his email had been emptied out a few days ago, so nothing is older than a week. So OP comes in with their first update that says sorry about the late update. My post was locked by the time I got to it. I'm currently writing this on the ride upstate. Yesterday I posted about an email I had gotten on my husband's email from an apartment complex talking about fixing the water. My husband, who was upstate visiting his mother until Saturday, has next to no cell service, so I haven't been able to talk to him about any of this other than saying that the email must have been a mix-up. My friend called and got his apartment number from the maintenance man. Both of us went over to the apartment and my friend knocked the door. A girl answered but didn't answer the door, just the bell camera. My friend said she was there looking for Adam. The girl said that Adam wasn't there but wouldn't give her more information than that, which I get. My friend was just a total stranger at her door. When we left, I could see her looking out the apartment window at us. I tried to call my husband 1,000 times yesterday and nothing went through. A few times the call did pick up, the service was so bad you could barely hear anything. So I'm heading upstate to confront him in person. I have a copy of the email as well as a photo of the apartment, as well as a recording of the girl saying that Adam wasn't there, which is confirmation to me that she knows him. If this is somehow all a big misunderstanding, I'm going to have my husband explain it to me in person instead of waiting until he comes home. I haven't gotten a chance to read all the comments, but we'll go through them now and try to respond to what I can. I haven't slept, so I hope this all makes sense. Edit. To everyone telling me that I should just wait, not confront him, talk to her first. He's my husband. He's the father of my children. If I'm going to find out that he's cheating on me, it's going to be from him. I'm going to say this for the last time. Please stop advising me not to talk to my husband about this very serious situation that we're in. I will talk to a lawyer if need be. However, we have been married for over a decade. We have a family and a life together. I'm going to talk to him. I understand what the situation probably is. I understand that he's probably going to try and lie to me. I'm not a moron. Corfiz says to OP, wouldn't it have been better to get her story first and confront him with all the facts? Now he's just going to lie and deflect his ass off and make you look like the crazy bad guy. Would have come up with a doozy of a story by now. Did you at least use his photo with the maintenance guy so that you have visual confirmation it's him? OP says, how can I get her story when she's barely willing to say anything to my friend? The reason why we didn't push her is because she wasn't giving us any information and we're worried that she was going to call the police. My friend tried to ask her more questions, but she wasn't giving her any information. So OP came in with what they titled their final update and said, I'm writing this from a hotel room. I went to confront my husband. He knew the minute my car pulled up what was going on. He came outside to meet me and the first thing he said was, did you go to the apartment? And I told him, yeah. So he said, so I guess we have to have a talk. And again, I said, yeah. I'm not going to get into the exact details of it. It was a long talk and it involved a lot of emotions. She is his girlfriend. They've been together for 4 months. She is under the impression that we are separated and going through the divorce process. His family wasn't aware of this. His brother and mother, who were there, were horrified. I'm sorry I don't have more to say. I've already contacted a divorce lawyer, a therapist, and a financial advisor. Thanks to everyone for your support. Married Life says, I'm so sorry. I'm guessing the girlfriend messaged him, which is why he knew why you were there. Be sure to log into your bank accounts, and if you feel it is necessary, take a screenshot and withdraw half of it into a new account, just under your name. Opie says she did not message him. He gets no service up there. He just saw the car pulling up and put 2 and 2 together. Don't Give Up says, how did he pay for this? Probably well over 4 months without you noticing. Opie says his company funds. Mooney Sandcat says, my dear, that sounds like embezzlement, and this is a whole other can of worms. Yeah, the first time OP mentioned about his company funds and he's got access to that money, and I thought, what? How's he spending that money? Because you can get in big trouble for doing that if it's not for the company, etc. What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon OP should be informing the girlfriend, because clearly she thought that they was already going through a divorce? I'd imagine she's equally confused about what the hell is going on at the moment. And I know it's not the point of these stories, but I always feel like this every time when people are leading these double lives. I think, who the bloody hell has got time for this, you know? It just sounds like an exhausting way to live your life. Like I said, I know it's not the point of the story. I know it's absolutely all fucking awful. But that always pops into my head. Like living in one place, living in another, with all the other stuff going on, you know, your job, having meals with your partner, you know, spending time together. It just sounds exhausting. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories as always. Your love, your support, your time, not just towards me, but towards each other down in the comments as well. I do see it, and I think you are amazing for doing so, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.